What's up, everybody? My name is Jason, and welcome to Breaking News. SBA EIDL Senate hearing results for Tuesday, August the 2nd, 2022. Please do me a huge favor, give this video a thumbs up, hashtag EIDL with your comments below, and don't forget, go to trysmallbiz.com. That's trysmallbiz.com. If you got a small business or a side hustle, you're going to want to get signed up today. And by the way, we've sold more than 100 premium memberships. Thank you very much. In the last week and a half, there's fewer than 150. So if I was you, before I send out that newsletter and tell 50,000 connections on LinkedIn to join us, I'd hit that red upgrade premium button tonight and get your seat at trysmallbiz.com, because when they're gone, they're gone. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I set a Guinness World Book of Record today for the most tweets at the SBA in less than a 2-hour period, more than 20. Because we learned in the Senate hearing hosted by the Big Ben fucking Cardin that there is a massive number of people that have unclaimed idle money just sitting there, approved, obligated, waiting for at least 2/3 of you to claim it. There is an unworkable file of how many people, and most importantly, what are we going to have to do to get you through reconsideration? Was there good news? And yes, there was. For those of you that have had your money bounced back from your bank to the SBA, and what are you going to have to do in order to claim it? And before this video is over, I will read out loud an email from an SBA loan officer in the last few days that got one of your fellow small business owners in Florida more than $100,000 wired into their account last Thursday. So ladies and gentlemen, pull up a chair. Grab a cup of coffee, ice cold beer, glass of wine, bottle of champagne, whiskey. On a big rock, here we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I must confess, I look like I should be hanging out on the beach. God knows I've earned it. I am exhausted and somewhat delirious. I didn't get much sleep last night. I'm running on 5 or 6 cups of coffee. But I can tell you right out of the gate, I am far more optimistic that 2/3 of you, minimum, are going to get your money in terms of the idle loan increase in the next 2 months. And for the 1/3 of you that are going to be in a tough spot, what is Big Ben effing Cardin about to do in terms of sending a letter back over to Patrick Kelly from the SBA? So at least most of you that did file your taxes in 2019 can get your money that you were promised. So let's start off with the obvious holy shit moment of the 1 hour and 50 minutes, which again is pinned in the top, along with a video I did a month ago on how you can request closing docs from the SBA. But please watch this to the end, because there's some answers we don't have yet. So if it's me, I wouldn't do anything for the remainder of this week. Wait for the SBA and or Patrick Kelly to answer Ben Cardin. But I almost fell off my rocker, and so did Ben Cardin, who, by the way, A+, Jackie Rosen, A+, the surprise of the day, Gene Shaheen, who called bullshit on Patrick Kelly and said what I've been saying, along with a great speak and see and writer over at Skip. There's a lot of legitimate people that got their taxes done on time, that got the fucking runaround from the SBA, and we ain't going anywhere, and we at least have those 3 senators on our side until everyone who's qualified and legitimate gets the money that they were promised. So, right out of the gate, Patrick Kelly, who, by the way, I don't think the guy's evil. I don't think he has malicious intent. If you watch it and it's 1 hour and 50 minutes long, he's very well prepared. He didn't look down at his notes one time. I get the impression that he's telling the truth in his own eyes for the most part. However, and this is where I roasted him, and I'll roast him again with another phone call and email in the next 24 hours, which he won't answer, of course. You're massively underinformed, my friend. The customer service and the loan specialist and the collection of data that you outsourced to a third party was a fucking train wreck. There are people that were asked to send the same documents 10, 15 times. And while yes, there is some level of fraud, and yes, there were some people that were impatient, that filed a second and third application that threw the whole system off, I get that. There are thousands of people, many of them among that unworkable file you kept referring to, that are legitimate. I could probably give you 500 cases right now. They've got stamped copies of their tax returns. They went down as per Isabel Guzman's advice and worked with local SBA or a score.org counselor. They did everything that you guys, or those outsourced idiots in many cases, told them to do, and yet here we are, 2 years into this fiasco, and many families are hanging on by their fingernails, some deserving to up to $2 million, and you, the SBA, is at fault, not them. But again, I want to say thank you to Patrick Kelly for showing up and doing a fairly good job, and I want to even throw a greater level of gratitude to Miss Guzman for not blocking me today, because folks, if you didn't see the tweet storm, you need to go see it. I had to do it. I was outrageously irritated, furious, passionate, flying off the handle, off the fucking rocker, whatever it was, and rightly so, and I don't regret any tweet. I didn't delete a single one. Because if you stuck through the whole thing, and I could never prove this, but I know it's true, watch about 20 minutes to go in the hour and 50-minute long hearing. Ben Cardin is handed a new sheet of paper. I am convinced, as sure as I'm sitting fucking here today, they were watching my tweet storm, and his staff, of which I know 2 or 3 people that are actually following me on Twitter, sent him a note. And he said, and if you watch the last 20 minutes, I really need to clear this up. He said, do you have enough money to get everyone funded that applied before Friday, May the 6th? And Patrick Kelly said, yes, very clearly. There's 125,000 people that are in the queue that are obligated. The money's already there. All you got to do is send them an email, which again, I'll pin the instructions in the top comment. It's in the description of the video from a month ago, and say, send it to me. And before this video is over, I'm going to read out loud what an SBA loan officer just said for someone who did exactly that. But it sounds like I was in his ear. And I want to include the great Speak and See and Ryder over at Skip and Andrew Cartwright and the old school folks like Purple Power and Meet Kevin, all of which contributed to the moment that we're at today. They're watching, they're listening to every fucking tweet I sent over the top this afternoon because they confirm there's more than enough money. Even for the 41,000 that are sitting in what's called an unworkable file that Patrick Kelly thinks most are disqualified because they didn't file their taxes. But Ben also doubled and tripled down in the final 15 minutes and said, yeah, but aren't there some legitimate people in that file and you need to re-examine it? And he pretty much said, yeah, because a half an hour before that, and yeah, I'm fired up and all over the place. You'll recall Patrick Kelly, who again, I don't think has malicious intent. He tried to say at one point, they're about to make a shift into collecting the money. And they have limited resources. So in other words, he was trying to say, there's 125,000 that got their money and just come and get it. But most of that 41,000, he was trying to tell Gene Shaheen, Jackie Rosen, both of whom slapped back, and Ben Cardin, most of them, according to Patrick Kelly, are not getting their money. But then Ben Cardin, because I was screaming at him, and fucking doubling and tripling down that there's a lot of real people in that unworkable file, you motherfuckers. You need to have a re-examination of every single one. And yes, if you're fraudulent, you're out. If you didn't file your taxes on time, you're out. If you got a credit score of 510, I'm sorry, you're out. But I would estimate at least a third, let's call it 12 to 13,000, if not more, of 41,000 in the unworkable file are deserving of the money that they were promised, and I ain't going anywhere until they get their friggin' money. So let me close out with this rather interesting video, I'm sure, with an email from an SBA loan officer. We were somewhat vindicated today, although no one cares. It's like when I talk about 10xing money on Twitter, it's like crickets. I'll get 5 likes. We fucking 10x people's money. None, unheard of. Do I get any love from that? Maybe 5 or 10 people out of, 9,400? I put the same shit up on the YouTube wall. I can't even get 10 likes. But I am fucking sitting here today saying, you see, I've been saying now for 2 months, along with those other 2 guys, heroes of this fucking channel, that they've been quietly funding people. And here he admits not only did they have 40 or 50,000, which he told us last month in the House, but they have 125,000 that are approved. The money's obligated. It's sitting there, and you just have to go get it. So I'm starting to think a lot of you didn't go get it, or not enough time has passed. So I'm going to read this email out loud, and then I'll close out with the bounce backs on the money and reconsideration. So don't go anywhere. Good afternoon. This is the SBA loan officer. From June the 14th, she called first. She sent this email second. It was nice speaking with you today. This is a small business owner in Florida. I am your case manager and will be your point of contact moving forward. We're in the process of mailing the loan closing documents to you. That video, once again, is pinned in the comment below. Don't go anywhere because I'm going to tell you what I think you should do. The documents will be emailed to you as well through a secured website called Box.com. They did not use Box.com. They just used email and regular mail. They also send you the closing docs that you can download at Box.com. I'm going to skip that part. In addition to the closing docs that we're mailing you, you need to send us, number one, a photo ID. And it's hot in here. Actually, I'm hot in here because I'm fired up. I'm jacked up on too much coffee because I didn't get any fucking sleep. And I went berserk for 2 hours and 25 tweets. So yeah, I'm a little wiped out. You need a photo ID, says the loan officer. Voided check that you'll be able to attach to the electronic funds transfer form enclosed in the loan documents if you'd like us to direct deposit. A UCC-1 form. Look it up on Google. It's very easy. It's also enclosed in the closing docs with the verbiage that you need to use, which we will need to be filled out by the Secretary of State of Florida that you established your business in. This can be done online in most states. The website for the Secretary of State in Florida, they included it. They'll do so for your state. Please make sure to copy or enter the information bold-faced exactly as it appears on the UCC-1 we provide you. If the information doesn't match, I will be unable to accept the documents and we'll have to file it all over again. She goes on to say at the SBA, I can accept the photo ID and the UCC-1 through an email, which they sent. However, all the other documents, i.e. signing of the closing docs, needs to be mailed back to the USBA P.O. Box, blah, 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 Fort Worth, Texas, 76155. I'm not giving the exact because I don't want to inundate. Or it's also on Kingsport Road in Fort Worth, Texas. Kind regards. And Thursday, so it took from June the 14th to July the 27th. So what is that? 6 weeks? 6 weeks from this communication to get the money. $113,900 was wired into the small business owner's account that lives in South Florida. So here we are, ladies and gentlemen. What do you do if you had your money bounce back or you're stuck in reconsideration? Answer, we don't know yet. I would say wait until the rest of the week. I got another video tomorrow and another one on Thursday that I'm going to drop related to what happened today. So the good news, and hopefully you made it this far, if you had money bounce back from your bank and you've been chasing it for 6 months, Patrick Kelly was very clear. He admitted that's a problem, and they're going to work to make sure every single one of you that has that problem gets your money. He didn't give us the instructions. We also do not know what they're going to do with these 41,000 unworkable files, most of which are in reconsideration. The good news, and there was lots of good news today, Ben Cardin tripled down at the end and said you need to re-examine all of the 41,000, and there's enough money in there, in addition to the 125,000 that are already obligated, to get everyone who's legit their money. So in closing, here's the deal. 2/3 of you, reach out to the SBA if you haven't already. Ask them to send your closing docs. You're going to get a phone call and an email similar to this. It's going to take you about 2 months start to finish to get the money into your account. If you got a bounce back problem or you're stuck in reconsideration, you got to wait. You got to wait for Ben Cardin, who's sending a letter demanding that he give him an answer on re-examining the 41,000. What's the process going to be? Because if we send another email to pdcrecons at sba.gov, they say you're shit out of luck. So don't do anything until I tell you to do so in the next few days to the start of next week. So until next time, always remember that I love you. And I hope to see you at Try Small Biz